Good evening, Scranton. Hello, ladies, gadies, ladies, zadies, and miscreants. My name is Lain Kaplan. I'm a 48-year-old non-binary trans woman. A lot of people say non-binary trans woman. How's that work? I am 100% authentic woman, 20% guy, and 200% fuck you. Do not lecture me on how percentages or math work. Besides, you're just going to embarrass me. I'm horrible with them. So this story is from April 1st of this year, Trans Day of Visibility. For those of you who don't know TDOV, it is the day of the year where we trans people are as loud and as obnoxious as possible because sometimes we want to blend in because life is rough for us, especially right now. But a friend of mine said, hey, Lain, we're going to New York to rally for people in not New York, Harrisburg, state capital. We get to the rotunda, and if you've ever been to the rotunda at the Capitol, the beautiful frescoes, gorgeous ceilings, absolute garbage for the sound. I was standing up on the steps, holding up a sign saying, protect trans kids, and I couldn't hear a goddamn word for 90 minutes. Alec from NEPA Stands Up was speaking, and he was my shaman, and he gave me so much motivation. And we got out afterwards and hit the state legislative offices. The Senate was voting on a couple bills in the session. SB 9 is a bill specifically dealing with trans kids, banning them from being their authentic selves in sports and many other school activities. And this bill was garbage. Now, growing up as a queer Jewish kid, gym class was the absolute worst nightmare. I got tackled so many times in basketball games. How's that work? The locker room was an absolute nightmare. Shirts versus skins. I knew something was horribly wrong. Oh my God, it was a nightmare. So, and it was the worst part of the school year, and I don't want kids today to have to go through the same garbage that I did so many years ago, back when buffalo roamed the earth. Dinosaurs. So, we went to two Senate offices of women who ended up being co-sponsors of this garbage ban, and we were barking up the wrong tree. Then we got to Marty Flynn's office. For those of you who live locally, Marty Flynn is our state senator, and we had heard he's a Democrat, and he was planning to vote for the ban. Yeah, I know. So Alec took point for the previous two and just ran to a brick wall, and I told him, I'm going to take point on this one. Give this to me, because he comes to Scranton Shakes Festival. I do front of house stuff for them. I've scanned his tickets for 2 years. He knows how I dress. I'm not fucking subtle. And I'm going to give him a goddamn piece of my mind. And he's on the floor. I know I'm not actually going to speak to him in person. So I go in the door, and I meet with Noelle, a woman about my age, and I go through my litany of pain and horror, and I am pissy and angry, and I am snapping at her and saying, if he doesn't vote the right way on this and say no, I don't want to see him at the Shakes Festival this year. I don't actually make executive decisions for that. I shouldn't have said that. Sorry, Mom. She's a treasure. And so I was going through, and I got all of my rant out because I had been stewing for half an hour. And I paused and caught my breath, and I looked at Noelle. And I was expecting to see a stonewall, because legislators and legislative aides get yelled at all the time. I was expecting her to be just totally pristine and cool. But she had a pained look on her face. She was feeling it. And I was kind of taken aback, because I felt like I had done harm to her. And then I looked at her phone. She held up her phone nervously, and I looked at the back of it. And there was this Lisa Frank rainbow glittery design. And I saw a sticker on it that said, protect trans kids. And then I looked at her desk, and I saw 8 or 10 family photos, all facing her, and so that Marty could go see them. I was cussing out a trans parent. So I immediately said, "Hey, I like your phone." And she was like, "You went off on me and you're saying that?" And I pivoted and I showed as much compassion as I could. And I said, "God, we both are trying to do our best, and you are doing your best to try to convince your boss. I see you." I felt such disgust and horror at myself because I realized I was not just pissed off constituent with her. I was pissed off constituent guy. And that was really hard, and I was able to pivot, and we had a good, safe situation, a good, safe conversation where we express our concern and care for each other. Because part of freedom, none of us are free until all of us are free. But also, we have to focus on freedom to take care of each other. And that's super important. And we need to stay together as a community during this garbage time. Thanks so much. Happy Pride.